From arrest to cell. How prisoners live in the U.S. system. The arrest. It is 2:17 a.m. Marcus wakes up to loud banging on his door. Police. Open up. His heart races. Neighbors watch from their windows. Handcuffs snap around his wrists. He is placed in the back of a police car. The door shuts. No handles inside. The car drives away. His old life disappears in the rearview mirror. It is 2:17 in the morning. The room is dark and quiet. Marcus is asleep on his couch. Suddenly, loud banging shakes the front door. It is not normal knocking. Sounds urgent. Marcus wakes up confused. His heart beats fast. For a moment he thinks he is dreaming. The banging continues. A strong voice shouts, "Police! Open the door!" Marcus sits up slowly. His hands shake. He looks at the clock glowing in the dark. He walks toward the door carefully. Each step feels heavy. Red and blue lights flash through the window blinds. The room fills with moving colors. Marcus opens the door halfway. Two police officers stand outside. Their faces are serious. One officer asks him to step outside immediately. Before Marcus can ask questions, the officer says he is under arrest for armed robbery. Marcus feels shocked. His mouth goes dry. He tries to speak, but no words come out. The officer gently but firmly turns him around. Cold metal handcuffs close around his wrists with a loud click. The officer begins reading his rights. "You have the right to remain silent." Marcus hears the words, but his mind feels far away. A neighbor's window opens slightly. Someone is watching. Marcus feels embarrassed. He keeps his head down. He is guided toward the police car parked outside. The back door opens. The seat inside is hard plastic. Marcus carefully sits down while handcuffed. The door shuts loudly. It locks automatically. He looks for a handle. There is none. The car begins to move. The flashing lights reflect off buildings. Marcus watches his apartment disappear behind him. Inside the car it is quiet except for the radio. Marcus feels fear growing inside his chest. He wonders how long this will last. The police car pulls into the station parking lot. The door opens. He is helped out carefully, still in handcuffs. As he walks through the station doors, he realizes something important. His life has just changed, and there is no going back to how it was before. Marcus stands in a hallway inside the jail. The air smells like cleaning chemicals and old walls. A correctional officer unlocks a heavy metal door. The loud buzz echoes down the hall. Marcus walks forward slowly, still trying to understand what is happening. He is taken into a processing room with bright white lights. An officer hands him a folded jail uniform, orange shirt, orange pants and thin socks. Marcus is told to change clothes. His regular clothes are taken away. He feels strange wearing the uniform, like his identity is disappearing. His personal items, phone, wallet, keys, are placed into a plastic bag with his name on it. An officer explains he will get them back when he leaves jail. Marcus is given a thin blanket, a sheet, and a small towel. He is walked down another hallway lined with locked cells. Voices echo. Some inmates shout. Some laugh. Some argue loudly. The officer stops at one cell and opens the door. Inside are two metal bunks and a small toilet connected to a sink. Another man is already sitting on the lower bunk. The man looks up and studies Marcus for a moment. "First time?" the man asks calmly. Marcus nods quietly. The man introduces himself as Luis. Luis gives simple advice. "Keep to yourself. Be respectful. Don't owe anyone." The cell door slams shut behind Marcus with a loud metal sound. Marcus feels the reality hit him. He cannot leave. A food tray slides through a slot in the door. Dinner is rice, beans, bread, and milk. Marcus eats slowly, not very hungry but knowing he needs strength. Night begins, but the lights never turn fully off. From the hallway someone is yelling. Another person is crying. Marcus climbs onto the top bunk. The mattress is thin and uncomfortable. He stares at the ceiling, thinking about his family and what will happen next. Sleep does not come easily. As the noise continues around him, Marcus realizes this is only his first night, and many more may be coming. Early in the morning, loud footsteps echo in the jail hallway. An officer shouts names for court transport. Marcus hears his name. Marcus steps out of his cell. His hands are cuffed in front of him. A chain is wrapped around his waist, connecting the cuffs tightly. Shackles are locked around his ankles, making walking slow and careful. Marcus joins a line of other inmates heading toward the transport area. They are loaded onto a secure jail bus with small covered windows. Inside the bus, no one talks much. The mood feels tense. Marcus looks outside through the mesh window as the bus drives through the city. He wonders if this will be his last chance at freedom. The bus arrives at the courthouse building surrounded by security officers. Marcus is led through a side entrance into holding cells beneath the courtroom. After waiting, his name is finally called. He walks into the courtroom, chains clinking with each step. The judge sits high above everyone. The room feels serious and quiet. Marcus stands beside his lawyer as the charges are read out loud. His stomach tightens when he hears the words, armed robbery. The judge asks how he pleads. Marcus says, not guilty. Then the topic of bail begins. Lawyers argue back and forth. The judge announces the bail amount, $75,000. Marcus feels his chest sink. He knows his family cannot afford it. He is taken back to the holding cell after the hearing ends. Later, he returns to the jail bus and rides back to county jail. Days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months as he waits for trial. Marcus develops a routine inside jail. Meals, counts, short phone calls. He calls his mother once. She cries softly on the phone. Finally, the trial date arrives after 3 long months. In court, evidence and witness testimony are presented to the jury. After hours of waiting, the jury returns with a verdict. Guilty. The word echoes in Marcus's mind as he realizes prison is now real. Very early in the morning, Marcus hears his name called loudly in the jail hallway. An officer tells him to pack his belongings. He is being transferred. Marcus gathers his few items, letters, papers, and a toothbrush. His hands are cuffed again, tighter this time. A heavy chain is wrapped around his waist and locked in place. Leg irons are secured around his ankles, making each step slow. Marcus joins a group of inmates also being transferred to prison. Some inmates look nervous. Others look used to it. They are loaded onto a large transport bus with metal screens on the windows. The bus doors close with a loud metal sound. The engine starts, and the long journey begins. Marcus looks through the small window at the outside world passing by. He sees highways, cars, and people living normal life. He wonders when he will see freedom again. Hours pass. The bus stops only once for security checks. No one is told exactly where they are going. Finally, the bus slows down near a large fenced complex. Marcus sees tall fences covered in razor wire. Watchtowers stand high with officers looking down. The prison gates open slowly as the bus approaches. The bus drives inside and the gates close behind it. Marcus feels the reality hit. This is prison. Inmates are escorted into the intake building one by one. Marcus stands in line, still chained, waiting his turn. His identity is checked again using fingerprints and paperwork. He goes through a full body search for security reasons. Medical staff ask questions about his health and medications. A mental health screening is also completed. Marcus is given a prison ID number. Officers explain that he may be called by this number often. He receives prison clothing, different from jail clothing. His head is checked for lice, and he is told to shower. After the shower, he changes into the prison uniform. An officer explains prison rules, schedules, and consequences for breaking rules. Marcus learns about counts, work assignments, and lockdown procedures. He is finally escorted toward his housing unit. The building is loud, filled with voices and movement. Rows of cells stretch down long hallways. The officer stops at one cell and unlocks the door. As Marcus steps inside, he realizes, county jail was only the beginning. This place is his new reality for years. Marcus stands just inside the housing unit entrance, holding his small bag of belongings. The room is louder than county jail. Voices echo everywhere. Metal doors slam. A television plays in the background. He feels like he has stepped into a completely different world. An officer walks him down a long row of cells stacked on top of each other. Inmates lean against railings, watching quietly as the new arrival passes. Marcus feels dozens of eyes on him, judging him without words. They stop at a cell halfway down the tier. The officer unlocks the heavy metal door and tells Marcus this will be his home. The word home feels strange in this place. Inside the cell are 2 bunks made of steel, a small desk bolted to the wall, 2 lockers, and a stainless steel toilet connected to a sink. Everything looks cold and hard. A man sitting on the lower bunk looks up slowly. He studies Marcus carefully before speaking. His name is Darnell, and he has been here for 3 years already. Darnell asks if Marcus is new. Marcus nods. Darnell gives a small, understanding smile, like he has seen this moment many times before. Darnell gives advice in a calm voice. He explains that prison is about respect and staying out of trouble. He tells Marcus not to borrow things, not to gamble, and not to get involved in other people's problems. Marcus places his few belongings into the empty locker. The space feels small compared to his old life, but it is all he has now. The cell door closes with a loud mechanical sound. Marcus hears the lock engage. That sound makes the reality feel heavier. From the cell window, Marcus can see part of the housing unit. Inmates walking around, talking, playing cards and watching TV. Life inside prison keeps moving even though everyone is locked in. Later, an announcement comes over the speaker system calling for count time. Darnell explains that they must stand by their beds while officers count everyone. Marcus stands straight beside his bunk as officers walk past slowly, checking faces and numbers. He understands this will happen many times every day. Dinner time arrives, and inmates move in lines toward the cafeteria area. Marcus follows Darnell, trying to copy how others behave. The cafeteria is large and noisy. Trays slide across metal counters. The food is simple: rice, vegetables, and a small piece of chicken. Marcus sits at a table with Darnell. He notices how groups sit together, some based on friendships, backgrounds, or shared time inside. Prison has its own social structure. Marcus eats quietly, observing everything. He realizes prison is not constant fighting like movies show. Most people are just trying to get through their sentence. After dinner, they return to the housing unit for evening time. Some inmates watch TV. Some read books. Some just walk in circles to pass time. Darnell shows Marcus how to make his bed tightly. Small routines matter because they give a sense of control. As night approaches, Marcus hears conversations from other cells. Laughter, arguments, and sometimes someone yelling down the tier. The lights dim slightly but never turn completely off. Officers must always see inside for safety reasons. Marcus climbs onto the top bunk. The mattress is thin, and he can feel the metal underneath. He stares at the ceiling, thinking about how different life was just months ago. Freedom now feels like a distant memory. During the night, loud noises wake him up. Doors opening, officers talking, someone shouting. Sleep in prison is never fully peaceful. The next morning begins early with loud announcements and bright lights. Breakfast comes quickly, starting the daily routine. Marcus notices how experienced inmates move confidently, already knowing the schedule. He feels like a beginner learning new rules. Darnell explains that the first weeks are the hardest because everything feels unfamiliar and tense. Marcus begins watching more carefully. How people talk, where they stand, how they avoid problems. Observation becomes his survival tool. Later that day, Marcus learns he will receive a job assignment soon. Having a job is normal in prison and helps pass time. As the second night arrives, Marcus feels slightly less afraid than the first day. The environment is still harsh, but he is starting to understand it. Lying in bed again, Marcus realizes something important. Surviving prison is not about strength alone. It is about patience, respect, and learning the rules of a completely new world. By his third week, Marcus begins to understand the daily rhythm of prison life. Every day starts early before the sun rises. Bright lights turn on suddenly, and announcements echo through the building. There is no sleeping in. Everyone must wake up immediately. Morning count happens first. Marcus stands beside his bunk while officers walk past, checking each inmate carefully. Even if someone feels sick or tired, they must stand. Count is one of the most important rules inside prison. After count clears, inmates move toward breakfast. The food is basic: powdered eggs, oatmeal, bread, and milk. Marcus eats because he needs energy, not because he enjoys it. Soon after breakfast, Marcus reports to his job assignment in the prison kitchen. The room is hot and busy, filled with large pots, trays, and workers moving quickly. An officer supervises while inmates prepare food for hundreds of people. Marcus helps carry trays, wipe tables, and stack supplies. The work is simple but tiring. The pay is very small, sometimes only a few cents per hour. But the job gives Marcus something important: structure and a way to make time move faster. During breaks, Marcus talks quietly with a few other workers. Many share similar stories: mistakes, bad decisions, and long sentences they now regret. Lunch arrives quickly after the morning shift. Meals come at strict times, and missing one means waiting hours for the next. After lunch, Marcus sometimes has recreation time in the yard. The yard is surrounded by tall fences covered in razor wire, with watchtowers above. Even with the fences, seeing the open sky feels good. Some inmates lift weights, some walk laps, others sit and talk. Marcus usually exercises because it helps his mind stay calm. Physical activity becomes important for survival. Exercise releases stress and helps fight boredom, which can be dangerous inside prison. Marcus also starts attending GED classes in a small classroom. Sitting at a desk again feels strange, but he focuses carefully. Education feels like a chance to improve his future. The teacher treats inmates with respect, which surprises Marcus. It reminds him that he is still a person, not just a number. Evenings bring another count, followed by dinner. The routine repeats every day with very little change. Time inside prison moves slowly but also somehow disappears. Some inmates spend evenings watching television or playing cards. Others read books from the prison library. Marcus begins reading more than he ever did before. Occasionally, arguments happen between inmates. Most conflicts start small: misunderstandings, debts, or disrespect. Marcus learns to stay away from situations that could turn dangerous. One day, Marcus witnesses officers responding quickly to a fight nearby. Alarms sound, and everyone is ordered to the ground. The situation ends fast, but the tension stays in the air. That night, Marcus thinks about how one bad decision inside prison can add more years to a sentence. He becomes even more careful with his behavior. Phone calls home become very important. Hearing his mother's voice reminds him why he needs to stay focused and finish his time without trouble. As weeks turn into months, Marcus realizes survival in prison is not about being tough all the time. It is about routine, discipline, and protecting your mind from hopelessness. By his second year, Marcus understands that prison is not just about following rules from officers. It is also about navigating the behavior of other inmates. One afternoon in the yard, he notices tension building between two groups. It starts with quiet arguing, then louder voices. Marcus feels the energy change in the air. Darnell, standing next to him, whispers to stay calm and not get involved. Marcus keeps his distance, realizing that sometimes the safest choice is simply walking away. Suddenly, the argument turns physical. Fight breaks out nearby. Officers shout commands, and alarms echo across the yard. Marcus immediately drops to the ground like he was taught during orientation. His heart pounds as he hears boots running and officers taking control of the situation. Within minutes, it is over, but the tension remains. Later, the entire unit is placed on lockdown. Marcus learns that even when he does nothing wrong, the actions of others can still affect his life inside. During lockdown, Marcus spends hours inside his cell thinking about choices. He remembers people from his past who encouraged risky behavior. He realizes that prison is full of people who made one bad decision that changed everything. He promises himself again that he will not add more time to his sentence by making mistakes inside. One evening, Marcus receives a letter from home. His hands shake as he reads the words. His grandmother has passed away. He sits silently on his bunk, staring at the paper. He knows he cannot attend the funeral. The feeling of helplessness hits harder than anything else in prison. Darnell quietly sits nearby, offering support without many words. In that moment, Marcus understands how prison punishes not only freedom, but also connection to family. That night, Marcus lies awake thinking deeply about his life. He sees clearly how his decisions led him here, not just the crime but the smaller choices before it. He realizes that real change must start inside his mind before it can happen outside. From that moment, Marcus decides he will use his time to grow instead of wasting it. Prison may control his body, but he refuses to let it control his future. By his third year, Marcus begins to see himself differently. He spends more time in the classroom studying for his GED. At first, learning feels difficult because he has been out of school for years. But slowly he improves. The day he passes his final test, he feels proud in a way he has never felt before. For the first time in a long time, he believes he can actually build a better future. Marcus also joins a vocational training program where inmates learn basic carpentry skills. Under supervision, he learns how to measure wood, use tools safely, and build simple furniture. The work keeps his hands busy and his mind focused. He starts to enjoy creating something useful instead of destroying things with bad decisions like before. Outside of work and classes, Marcus spends more time reading books from the prison library. He reads stories about people who changed their lives after hard times. These stories give him hope. He begins writing letters to his younger brother, telling him to stay in school and avoid trouble. Marcus realizes that change is not only about finishing his sentence, it is about becoming a better person before he ever leaves prison. The prison feels different when a man knows his time is almost up. The same concrete walls, the same steel doors, the same echoing footsteps of guards. But tonight, everything carries a strange weight. Marcus lies on his bunk staring at the ceiling, unable to sleep. Freedom is only hours away, yet fear creeps into his mind. Out there, he won't have the routine that kept him alive. No count times. No predictable meals. No cell to retreat to. Just a world that moved on without him. Across the cell, his bunkmate whispers, "You ready?" Marcus hesitates before answering. "I don't know." For the first time in years, uncertainty feels more dangerous than prison. Morning arrives with the metallic crash of doors unlocking down the tier. Marcus gathers his few belongings. Letters, worn photos, and prison-issued clothes folded neatly into a small bag. Each step toward processing feels surreal. Paperwork is signed. Fingerprints taken. A guard hands him civilian clothes and a bus voucher. Then comes the final door. The outer gate slides open with a slow mechanical groan, sunlight flooding his vision. He pauses at the threshold, heart pounding. Behind him is the world that tried to break him. Ahead is the world that might. Taking a deep breath, he steps forward. Outside, the air feels different. Warmer, wider, alive. Cars pass. People talk. Life moves fast, almost too fast. Marcus stands there for a moment, overwhelmed by noise and possibility. A family nearby laughs, and the sound hits him harder than any prison fight ever did. He realizes freedom isn't just about leaving prison. It's about learning how to live again. He grips his bag tighter and starts walking toward the bus stop, unsure of what comes next but determined to survive, just like he did inside. The first night, Marcus didn't expect freedom to feel so loud. The small room at the halfway house was quiet compared to prison, yet his mind refused to rest. No metal doors slamming. No guards yelling count. No tension in the air. Just silence. And that silence made him uneasy. He lay on the bed staring into the darkness, instincts still wired for survival. Every distant sound made him alert. For years, danger had been predictable. Out here it wasn't. Sleep came slowly, but when it did, it carried a realization. Surviving prison was one battle. Learning to live outside was another. The job hunt. 2 days later, Marcus stood outside a warehouse holding a job application, palms sweating more than they ever did during a prison confrontation. Inside prison, respect came from strength and reputation. Out here, it came from opportunity. Something he wasn't sure he'd be given. The manager glanced at his record, eyes narrowing slightly. Marcus braced for rejection. Instead, the man sighed and said, "Everyone deserves a second shot. Be here Monday." Relief hit Marcus like a wave. For the first time since release, hope felt real. Old temptations. Walking through his old neighborhood brought memories rushing back. Some good, most dangerous. Familiar faces called his name, offering quick money, easy paths. The same roads that led him to prison years ago. For a moment the pull was strong. Prison had taught him discipline, but the streets tested it. Marcus paused, remembering cold nights in a cell, the violence, the regret. He shook his head and kept walking. This time he chose differently. Freedom defined. Weeks passed, and routines slowly formed. Work, meetings, quiet evenings, rebuilding relationships. One afternoon, Marcus sat on a park bench watching kids play. Sunlight warming his face. No fences. No guards. No counts. Just life moving naturally around him. He realized freedom wasn't the absence of walls. It was the presence of choice. Every decision now belonged to him. And for the first time in years, he wasn't just surviving. He was living. Looking back, Marcus stands in the sunset, thinking about the cold cells, loud doors, and lost time. Freedom feels fragile yet priceless. A message to others. He speaks to a young man, warning that one bad choice can ruin a life. Choices matter more than anything. Moving forward. Walking home under streetlights, Marcus knows his future is his own. The past shaped him, but hope drives him forward.